Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at a few things to help you build a fire and keep you warm in an emergency situation. So keep watching because it's all going to be coming up right here in just a moment. What do you got, boys, and welcome back to Kutch's Corner and a new installment for the channel. Today I'm joined by my three lovely assistants,
Michaela, Kyrie, Avery.
And today we're going to be taking a look at some of the items that I believe no backpack should be without. And we're going to be discussing those items and how some of them can be used together to get you out of a pinch. Also a few fire starting techniques that most people wouldn't think of or even know about. So let's get started. Alright, so these items I have here, I don't need to tell anybody what these items are. It all seems pretty straightforward. You guys know it, you can see what it is, pretty much tell what it is, have an idea of how to use it. But I'm going to go through it anyway and let you guys see why I think that these items are what no backpack should be without. Now first I want to get started on the cutting tools. My axe, my hunting knife, and my pocket knife. Now the axe, I don't have to tell anybody, that is going to be your main source for getting your bigger materials. Your bigger logs, your bigger sticks, smaller branches, whatnot. And the back of the axe can be used like a hammer or mallet. If you happen to sharpen the ends of sticks to drive them in the ground and make makeshift shelter or a reflective wall for your fire, that can help you out a great deal. Just pound that baby down pound the sticks down with that guy and you shouldn't have a problem. If you do happen to have a few nails on you, that can be used as a hammer, drive your nails in your sticks, whatnot. The hunting knife, you don't have to have this in your backpack per se. If you don't like having that extra weight on your belt, I usually carry it on my belt, but you don't want that extra weight and dragging you down, hauling your pants down around your arse or whatnot. Keep it in your backpack, that's fine, but this is going to help you out a great deal, especially if you want the baton smaller sticks or bigger than what you have dry twigs for starting your fire with. Making splits pretty much. But if you do have your axe, there's no need to use your knife and perhaps beat your knife up that way. But this will help if you do happen to catch small game while you're in the wilderness. This can help you skin it, gut it, clean it, whatever. The pocket knife here is more for smaller jobs. For sharpening your sticks, whittling. If you do happen to have marshmallows on you or something, or some type of hot dog or Vienna sausage, if you want to heat it up a bit, whittle a stick, stick it on the end, and way to go. Well, I never go anywhere without my pocket knife because I never know what kind of situation I'm going to be in and where that thing can come in handy. Cutting a piece of rope or whatnot. Okay. Next, let's move on to the aluminum blanket and the plastic poncho. Now, the aluminum blanket is an important thing to have, just in case you happen to fall in a river and get wet somewhere, or trip up and fall in a puddle. Well, a deep puddle, got to be a deep puddle, I guess. But if your clothes happen to get soaked and you got them hanging up and drying, and you happen to get a fire going, wrap the blanket around you, keep your head covered, sit next to your fire, and this will keep you from getting cold. What that does, it actually reflects the heat back onto your body as your body temperature begins to rise. Now, with the plastic ponchos, what I like to do, once I have my body fully wrapped in the emergency blanket, I put the poncho on over it. This will help reinforce the heat a little more if you do happen to have slightly lower temperatures. And also, if you do happen to have a damp atmospheric conditions, the plastic poncho will keep the moisture off, so it acts as an extra moisture barrier. If you don't have that on and your aluminum blanket happens to get damp on the outside and little beads of water are starting to form on it, the temperature will actually make you colder from the outside, and the heat will reflect back, but it won't be as effective as if it's a dry condition. Now, if you do happen to have the plastic poncho on you and not the emergency blanket, if your clothes are getting dry, I recommend you don't do it because having plastic on your bare skin tends to make you sweat. It does reflect heat, but a little too well. And if the temperature happens to drop, this is not going to help because you're only going to get cold. And if you do happen to get cold while this happens, you may end up getting the flu, or you may end up getting pneumonia, and it's just going to make your situation worse than what it needs to be. Now, next I want to move on to the steel wool and the 9-volt battery. I'm pretty sure you guys seen these videos where the steel wool gets lit with a 9-volt battery and goes up in flame. This works great. It's awesome. But what I like to do is have cotton balls with me as extra dry materials in case there's any of the drier materials like grass or leaves on the ground happen to be wet. And this gives me extra option, to get your fire stoked and going. But open the steel wool in the nest is what I like to do, and tear these abroad a bit and put it in the nest of the steel wool. And once that happens, just start your steel wool with your 9-volt battery. I'm not going to demonstrate it here because it does tend to smoke and I'm indoors. But start it with a 9-volt battery. This will go up in flame. Put your if you have any twigs or anything, or even if you do happen to bring dry materials with you, put that on there. Help get your fire stoked. Put your bigger stuff on after. Way to go. Next I want to talk about this here, hand sanitizer. This is great for two reasons. Not only if you're, a bit of a germaphobe like myself, but about a dime to quarter sized drop on the area. This will light very easily, but you want very low to no wind as possible when doing it. It contains isopropyl alcohol and ethyl alcohol, and it lights very easy but also blows out very easy, which is why I stress no wind conditions if you can. So that'll help get your fire going, and you can place your dry sticks on, or your whatever, as you build your fire up. Works great. Get you out of a pinch, and yeah, that's it for that. Now, the coiled wire. Now, this is a spring-form wire that I got out of a rod for finishing blinds, but you can stretch it out. And I always like to have some kind of cordage, wire, twine, whatever. And wire mostly because if I'm happening to make what's called a Swedish torch or Canadian candle, I'm sure you've seen videos on that, I put that down to the lower part of the base of the structure, and it keeps the sections from falling away from each other as it's burning down, and it keeps burning longer, so it helps in that way. But you can also use it as a makeshift clothesline, use it to fasten sticks together, help you with solidifying your makeshift structure, whatnot. I always have some kind of cordage because you never know when it's going to come in handy for something. Now, let's get on to the water bottle. Now, the water bottle, not only just for hydration, acts as a makeshift magnifying glass. So you kind of want it around the top like this, nothing with a pattern, because it's only just going to distort sunlight. And you use it in the same manner as a magnifying glass, move it up and down. Sun comes in here, comes out here, and find that hot spot. Now, use dark materials when you're starting your fire this way. Any method where you're using the sun, use dark materials because it absorbs the heat. If you use light colored materials, it's going to reflect it and you're just going to have a hard time. But moving in and out, find the hot spot, get your fire going that way. Place your drier materials around it, your smaller twigs, and your bigger sticks and whatnot. Now, the can, the drinks, we call it drink, some people call it soda, pop, depends on where you're from. But not only does it give me another option of something to drink besides water, but the sugars in this, it'll give you some energy, get your blood pumping, help keep you warm in that aspect. But it's not so much the can to help you start a fire, but the bottom of the can is the concave bottom. And you kind of want to polish that down to almost a mirror point. And you need a nice clear sunny day for this and the water bottle method. Nice clear sunny day. Make sure you're not in too much tree cover that's just going to block the sun. But aim the bottom of the can at the sun and try to get it in the center of the concave. And that's going to be the hottest point. What you want to do, I'm just going to do this for an example. Take your material, make sure it's dark material, and slowly move it into the center of the can. This is going to take some practice, but get it into the center of the can, not so much to block the sunlight, but once you need to start seeing smoke and getting it to smolder. Once it starts smoldering, take your dry materials and, pack it around there, start blowing on it gently, start stoking your fire, and you'll be able to get it going. Now, the matches, I always keep my matches in a pill bottle for 2 reasons. 1, it's more convenient. 2, keeps it dry. Now, I always keep the striker in here as well, again, keep it dry. Now, these are the red and white tip Strike Anywhere matches. Works on any rough surface, rock, concrete, zipper, whatnot. Anything that'll make it get that spark. I don't recommend using your thumb like you see in the movies. You see some guys going like this. Not going to work. Chances are your thumbnail isn't that rough, and you're just going to end up breaking the match head off, and it's going to be useless. Downside matches, if they do happen to get wet, they're going to be useless. Striker gets wet, it's going to be useless. But keeping them in a little pill bottle like this is awesome. There are tubes you can get for 15 to 20 bucks. It has a little rubberized seal to help keep them dry. But all you need to do with a pill bottle is get a little small rubber band, a little elastic band, and just stick it around the lip of the bottle like so. And you got your instant rubberized seal. It helps keep it, the extra moisture out of it. Works great. Don't cost as much. Going to save you 15, 20 bucks in the long run. Now, these matches here are the windproof, waterproof matches. You can see the strikeable materials, stuff that goes down the matchstick quite a ways. This allows extra time to get your fire started. Downside of this is not like the Strike Anywhere matches. So if your striker happens to get damp and becomes useless, you're not going to get these lit. But again, if you do have them in a pill bottle with a little rubber band around the edge, that'll help keep them dry, and these will be great. High winds, gets wet, no worries. Now, the lighter, everybody's seen the lighter. These last a lot longer than what matches do, and doesn't take a genius to figure out how to use it. Just turn the wheel, keep the trigger down, and it lights. There is a little trick you can use if your lighter does happen to run out of fuel. Just turn it upside down and slowly turn the wheel, and you try to get a little collective area of the shavings that come off the flint. Works better if you have this off and that little metal strip on the wheel, but just take your time. Try not to spark it up as you're doing, because you're just going to lose the flint and you'll have to do it all over again. But get a little collective area on your burnable materials. Help strike that up. Once you get enough, nice little pile, looks kind of dark, give it a little strike like that. That'll start to catch, and your materials will catch, and your fire will start. Now, one last thing, last but not least, I want to talk about the level of communication. I always carry something on me, my phone mostly, that stay in contact with the family if I'm going anywhere. If I happen to be out of service range, my phone has GPS on it, so satellites will be able to pick that up and find me and get me out of there, pretty quick. If you don't have it, make sure you have some kind of ham radio or walkie-talkie that you can find a signal, try to contact somebody. Long range would be best. But if you do happen to have a phone, make sure it has GPS on it. So keep that turned on, and if you do happen to run into trouble, somebody will find you. And working in conjunction with all this, once you're warm, you won't be as bad, because somebody will be along to help you, whether it's nighttime or daytime. And that's about it. So these are the items that I think no backpack should be without. And these methods I talked about work great. Now, in my next videos, I'll show you some fire starting techniques that I like to use, and give you a little demonstration on how to build them or whatnot. Pretty sure you've seen it before, but it's something to follow up with. And again, This stuff works great. Make sure you have this stuff with you, and you shouldn't have a problem. Well guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed watching, and keep an eye out for my upcoming videos, and we hope to see you soon.
Bye!